I think I need to place a trigger warning on this video. The world doesn't owe us trigger warnings. Our brains and well-being are our own responsibility. That said, I get very upset in this video. If you need to skedaddle, go right ahead. If you decide that you're gonna put yourself through witnessing this video, and I mean it's not even a good video anyway, here it is. Welcome. How are you doing today? I've decided I need to stay home today. And I'm not really sure which reason to tell my job that I'm staying home for, if it's psychological issues or if it's stomach issues, because I'm having both. Like I'm gonna try to like keep my shit under control as best I can, because I know that in videos before I've lost it. But I mean, I've already got the bad fucking luck. No, I don't want to lose it, you know? Like, you watching, you didn't do anything to deserve me, like, yelling, you know? So, I mean, but I woke up in the middle of the night, and just the way that I felt physically and mentally, I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. You know? So I'm gonna make myself breakfast. And I'm gonna talk to my phone camera. We have this janky washing machine. And things in this house are jank for two reasons. Hard water. All of our plumbing is just fucked. Our water fixtures are trash. And then two, the wiring in our house is fucked up. Somewhere in the whole thing, the wiring was done wrong and bad. And you would have to go through the entire house testing out different things to try and figure out and pinpoint what that thing is and where it is. But it is what's messing up the electricity in the entire place, which is why our outlets tend to destroy things you plug into them. Like, oh, it's tragic. Oh, God, why did I do that? Is that better? No! God. That's bad too. But yeah, like we don't have this overhead light doesn't work. It's partially because I think the wiring fried it, and also like our bathtub like leaks through the ceiling. Well, comment down, Danielle. Comment the fuck down. Our washing machine does this thing where every time you start it, it makes the sound like it's trying to lock, but it struggles to lock, and then it goes ding 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 because it's like, oops, I failed, I couldn't lock the door, and now the whole thing's over. So you got every single time. So you have to turn it off and start it over. And recently, I started figuring out a way that I could trick it instead of like having the fail message of ding 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 ding. If I start it and I hear it kind of try to click like, and then I turn it off preemptively, and then I turn it back on, it'll start the first time. But it also tends to do this thing most cycles where like it just kind of gets stuck and quits in the middle of the cycle, and then you're like, oh, my laundry should be done by now, and then you go to like put it in the dryer and the washing machine is still full of water and your clothes are just sitting there in the water because it quit on you in the middle of the cycle. Well, this morning I went to go check on or put this wash in the dryer that I had been washing last night and forgot about because my life sucks, dude. It was full of water, and so I just went to turn it on again so I could do like a quick cycle to like rinse it and get all the water out. It won't. It won't turn on. And considering I'm already having stomach problems and I already want to scream, cry, and die, I guess, I'm not taking it well. My mom told me about this time when she was really young that she went to a friend's wedding. My mom went up to the father of the bride at the reception and said, "Hey, I really liked your speech." And he replied something to the effect of, "Oh, I hope it wasn't too long and boring for you." Because she used the wrong word. It wasn't a speech, it was a toast. And by calling his toast a speech, the language would imply that he was being long-winded and preachy. And I guess she felt so embarrassed about that many years later, when she was raising a little tiny me, she told me that story. And I don't know why she told me it, but what I took away from it is that the language you use to characterize other people's actions and behaviors needs to be accurate. Now, I'm not a well-spoken person, so I say dumb shit all the time. Last weekend I made a video where I make broad generalizations about bisexual women, when really I'm just talking about how I see myself in my head and projecting it onto every other bisexual woman. That's ridiculous, Danielle. So, all of that to say, it really bothers me that every fucking time I speak, my boyfriend calls it a story. It's not a fucking story if I told you I went to get a salad and they didn't have what I wanted. That's not a fucking story. I didn't eat all day yesterday. I went and got this salad on my break, and I was very disappointed because it's my cat scratching at the back door. Hey, Disco. I went to this place called Salata, and it's like a salad bar place, but it's not like you go to the bar and make your shit. There's like a, do they have a Salata where you're from? There's like a line. You go down the line and you tell them what you want, and they build it for you. And I liked this place a lot because they have fucking amazing tofu, dude. Like, I'm talking like I want to say top 5 tofu I've ever had in my life, but then I also want to say top 2 tofu I've ever had in my life, because I genuinely cannot think of any other place that had tofu that I like this much. Like, I know I've had good tofu before, but like, it hasn't stuck in my brain where I got it from. And it's not, I mean, for me, in my opinion, it's not that easy to make like really good tofu. If it was, I would have figured it out, and other people would have figured it out. I wouldn't be getting bad tofu from places. But so I got down to the last salad section, the protein section, and they had fucking shrimp and all kinds of weird pork that, like, I don't know why you would want that weird pork in a salad, but go off, sis, I guess. Also, I'm very sorry that the lighting is bad. There's nothing I can do about it. Okay, that helps. It hurts my eyes, but it helps. I put a headlamp over on the counter. They didn't have the tofu anymore. So I was like, oh no, y'all don't have any tofu. They discontinued it because it wasn't selling. And when I was disappointed, she went, well, would you like artichoke hearts for just $3 more? You mean to tell me that you discontinued the tofu because it wasn't selling well, but the $3 artichokes, that's what y'all decided to keep? Are those a banger? Are those a hit? Are those selling well? Another part of the whole going to get a salad thing is that, like, it's a bar, like if you go to like Chipotle or whatever and you go down the line, or Subway, whatever, where you go down the line. Well, in line ahead of me was a guy with a British accent and a little kid, a little boy. And this man was getting 3 salads. And so I wait patiently in line behind him. And then once he finally moves down to the next part of the line and someone can help me, I step up, and before I can even get through the first step of picking the lettuce, the British guy walks it back over to the first station and is like, hey, you know what, I'm really sorry, but my son decided that he wants something too, so he adds on a 4th salad. So when he walks back to the first station and decides that he needs to add another fucking salad to his order, a 4th salad, he effectively kicked me back out of line. So it was a frustrating experience. And I didn't get those stupid fucking artichokes. Who's paying $3 for artichokes? And then they also wanted to upsell me a quarter of an avocado for $3. And I thought, well shit, since I don't have the fucking tofu that I wanted, I could at least get the avocado, but then I remembered I had a whole avocado at home. And so I figured, okay, I'll just save my salad until I get home, and then I can put my avocado in it. So I got home, I was fucking tired, and I know that like this thing happens every time when I get home, where like I walk in the door and the dogs come at me. Usually they bark because I'm an intruder. And a lot of times my boyfriend, because he is a very energetic person, will just come at me with this fucking energy where I'm like, I haven't even got to set my shit down, I haven't gotten to fucking take my shoes off, I haven't gotten to change my clothes, and he's fucking going. So before he could even really fully engage me in such a manner, I stayed out of the way. I went in the laundry room, I closed the door. I went upstairs, I closed the door. Like I was gonna do some laundry, I was gonna change my clothes, I was gonna get some shit done, I was gonna fucking put my salad in a bowl and do some shit before I allowed him to just suck up all of my attention. And he tells me about the shit he wants to tell me about. And then I wanted to tell him about how disappointed I was in the salad, but how like it ended up not being too bad because he got me an avocado when he ordered groceries. So I had an avocado at home. So I say, I went to the salad place. It was my turn. The British guy and his kid came back to square one and pushed me back out of the line. And then when I got down to the when I got down to the protein section, and that's when his entire face changes. And he says, he says, you're losing me. And I tried to keep going, but he was like, you know, I liked the other part of the story with the British guy. And I was like, it's not a story. It's something that happened in my day that I just wanted to tell you about. And he continued to interrupt me, and I was just like, okay. And I was like, dude, okay, well, you've repeatedly interrupted me. And as I'm saying this, he's talking over me. And I was like, all right, well, I mean, you suck the wind out of my sails, dude. Like, I feel like it's entirely pointless to try and say fucking anything. Because you wanted to criticize the storytelling of me just telling you something that happened when I went to get a salad on my lunch break. And he decided to argue about the definition of the word story. And I was like, okay, that's it. I'm done. Drop it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Leave it. And he goes over to the computer and he's like, no, we're going to look up the definition of story. And I was like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm over it. Like, there's no point. You weren't going to listen. And he's like, oh, okay. So you just don't want to be wrong. I get it. You just don't want to be wrong because you can't accept the definition of the word. And I was like, no, it's rude to call something a story when it's me just telling you like something that happened in my day briefly. It's not a fucking tale that I'm telling for amusement. It's not entertainment. And he continues on with his bullshit, and I have repeatedly told him to drop it. And he walks over here to the back door to let the dogs out. And he starts doing this fucking thing that he does, where he mimics me in a way that I don't sound, that is just grating to hear. Because he's making a horrible sound and then pretending it's me. Yeah, I'm Danielle and I'm sad all the time. Like, that's what he does. And he starts going off and doing this shit and saying things that I never said, so he's not even repeating me. And that's when I jumped up and I fucking came in here and I'm like, stop it, what fucking now, stop it, shut the fuck up, stop it. And I'm so mad that I grabbed this empty bottle and I was just pounding it. And he wouldn't stop. He wouldn't stop. And I'm so upset. And I'm like, you just shut up. And he wouldn't shut up. And at this point, I asked him to drop it and just stop so many times throughout the course of this entire thing. And he wouldn't. That I was losing it. And I was like, dude, I just wanted to fucking tell you something about that happened to my day. It's not an entertaining tale. And I just wanted to tell you that they didn't have the fucking thing I wanted, but in the end it was okay because you bought me a fucking avocado. And I was crying and hyperventilating. And he sat down next to me and hugged me and laughed. Which made me even more angry because I was like, no, dude. Like, I asked you to stop. You wouldn't stop. You pushed me and you pushed me and he's like, I never raised my voice. You don't win just because you were quiet. You don't fucking win. I know that I started losing it, but I needed to drown. Like he was doing that. I'm sorry, I'm getting really upset again. And I was just like, dude, you could have just fucking listened to me. And instead, this is what it's become because you couldn't listen. And I don't know what he was saying because he was interrupting me and talking over me, like always. But he was like, so you're saying everything's my fault? And at this point, he pulls out his fucking phone and holds it up and is recording me. And I was like, no, dude, you don't get to do that. You don't get to fucking push me to the fucking edge and then start recording so that it looks like I'm just crazy out of nowhere. Like this response was unwarranted. And I was like, dude, like you pushed me and you fucking pushed me and you push and you push. You elicited this response, and when I said, you pushed me, he goes, I didn't touch you. That was for the camera. That was for the fucking camera. We both know he didn't touch me. We were both here. So, he's filming me.
Why do you have a camera on me?
And I was just like, no, I know you didn't touch me. You pushed me verbally and psychologically. And now you're gonna act like I'm upset for no reason and film it. I have videos of you too, dude. Editing me here just to say, like, holding a camera up to someone, treating them like they're some Karen gone wild in your personal life, in your home, is some fucking sick, twisted, manipulative shit. But at least when I film him, I don't put the fucking camera up in his face and say, I'm gonna show people you're crazy. I put it off to the side so that I can catch the entire fucking thing. And the camera's usually on me so you can see my response emotionally to everything he's saying. And I was just like, you could have just shut up and listened to me tell you this, and you didn't. And this is what it is now. I'm going upstairs. And it's like, I was already hyperventilating and upset, and he continued to fucking go at me and pull out a camera when I was already hyperventilating and crying. So I went upstairs. And I still hadn't fucking eaten my salad. I just sat down with it when this whole fucking thing started. So I took my salad and I went upstairs, and I was so upset and overwhelmed that like I I lost my appetite. I couldn't calm down, but I was so hungry because I hadn't eaten all day, but like I couldn't physically or psychologically eat anymore. And so I went upstairs and I had a video that was supposed to post at 8 o'clock, so, and I hadn't made a thumbnail yet. So I needed to like make a thumbnail and get it slapped up on there before the video went up. And he waited maybe 10 minutes or less before he came upstairs and like sat down and was like, I really want to get along. I didn't look at him. I was just like, because he wasn't going to apologize. He never apologizes. And I was like, I don't know, dude. Like, you saw that I was already crying and hyperventilating and you continued to fuck with me. And he's like, so everything's my fault. And I'm like, no, I'm not saying anything's your fault. Nothing's anybody's fault. And he's, but you know, like, you did this. And I was telling you, what you're doing is hurting me. And I'm telling you again now, what you did was hurtful to me. And you continued to do it and didn't stop. And he's like, so you do think it's my fault? I don't know what the it is. There's no fucking it. But I was just like, well, I mean, no, I'm not saying anything is your fault. But I mean, you are responsible for your own behavior. So, I mean, I told you to stop repeatedly and you didn't. You saw my response to it and you didn't stop. And he was just like, well, clearly I came up here prematurely. And I was like, yeah, you did. You did. You don't, I went upstairs to get away. And when he came up there to try and not apologize and say, I just want to get along, okay, because he's decided he wants to drop it now? It made me feel fucking cornered. Like, when I was a kid, and my stepdad would lose it on me and would chase me through the entire fucking house. And if I tried to get, like, he was gonna, like, I'm not gonna detail it because I don't want to lose it, and I'll derail myself even worse than I am. But there was physical violence. And he would get me cornered, and he would keep hitting me while I was already down, and he wouldn't stop. And there was nothing I could do, and I would try to hold still and cower, hoping that he would just stop, and he wouldn't. And then I would get overwhelmed again and just, like, scream at him, and then he would just hit me more, and I would cower again, but he wouldn't stop, and then eventually I would lose it and start screaming again. And it's like, I had a boyfriend who did the fucking same thing. He would just suddenly scream in my fucking face, and he wouldn't get away from me, and he would chase me through the house. Like, oh my God. Like, I would run, he blocked every door. I would try to run away to get out of the house and be like, fuck this, I'm going to my dad's because you won't stop screaming in my fucking face. And he would run and, like, block the fucking door and push me away from it and keep screaming. So I would run to a different door in the fucking house, and he would chase me and fucking rip me away from it and barricade that door too. He would block my car in the carport in the driveway so that if I wanted to leave, I couldn't. Even if I got out the fucking door, I couldn't leave. And the times that I wanted to leave, he would always tell me that he was going to call the police and tell them that I'd been drinking and that now I was driving. So I really don't appreciate it when I try to get away and I'm followed and there's not an exit. I don't like it when I say, this is upsetting to me, this is hurtful to me, and I want you to stop, to the point where I am smashing a fucking empty plastic bottle and telling you to stop and shut up and drop it. And you're well aware that you're sending me over the fucking edge, which is why I've been telling you to fucking stop. And then you pull out a fucking phone and start recording me. Get fucked, dude. You know, I'm starting to wonder if my boyfriend has watched my YouTube videos, because I know in these videos sometimes I talk about things that really upset me and I go off. And I've taken those videos down because, like, I don't like that, I don't want to misrepresent him as if he's that all the time as a person. There's a lot of really great things about him. But I make these videos because I need to talk. And just the way he's been this past couple of weeks, it feels like he read my diary. It feels like he knows something that he's not supposed to know. A couple of weeks ago, he fucking just cried out of nowhere, and I was feeling really bad, you know, because, like, for so long I've been so frustrated with people who made me feel bad that I couldn't see them for their humanity. I could only see them for the worst ways that they'd made me feel. So I was trying to be cognitive about that, right? And then eventually when he told me what's been bothering him for the past several weeks that has, like, made him grumpy and rude to me, it's that
Non-injury, not life-threatening.
I thought someone was gonna fucking die. I'm not. Like, that's. His behavior had indicated something very serious was wrong. And I'm not saying that, like, it isn't serious, but to lash out repeatedly for weeks? Okay, well, I'm gonna tell my manager I have to stay home. I didn't really know what I was supposed to say when I texted my boss and told her that I had to stay home. Because on one hand, I want to elaborate, you know, so that she'll understand. But at the same time, I don't want to scare her. And I feel like it's stupid, but I told her that, like, I've told her before when I've had to take mental health days, just to, like, reassure her. I don't know if her mind would ever even go there. I don't know. But I told her before that, like, I'm not a danger to myself. And it's fucking embarrassing, dude. I don't want to be like this. I just think that when someone tells you to stop and fucking drop it, you should do it. Stop, drop, shut 'em down, open up shop. And at least be covert about filming me, you fucking dipshit. Are you dumb? Stupid, I'm dumb. I got very upset and I went through my YouTube videos and I unprivated several of him being horrible to me while I was breaking down. And I put them all back on private because I regret that, you know, but first I was really considering, like, should I just fucking reinstall the Facebook app and fucking post them all there and blast this motherfucker? But I don't want to do that, you know, because ultimately I'm gonna have to get over it. He's never gonna apologize. He's not sorry. He doesn't get it. So just like every time my stepdad would lose it and scream at me and fucking hit me, my mom would make me apologize to him just to keep the peace in the house. I remember one time when I was a teenager, I dyed my hair pink, and he wouldn't talk to me for 2 weeks, my stepdad. He just wouldn't talk to me for 2 weeks because I dyed my hair. There was this one time, I think I was 14 or 15. It was the weekend, and I had a friend sleepover. The next morning, it was Sunday morning, and it's not like we went to church every Sunday anyway, and my stepdad definitely, my mom went to church every Sunday. I sometimes went with her, but my stepdad usually did not go. But I had a friend sleepover. My mom woke us up early that Sunday morning and was like, we're going to church. And I was like, well, I have a guest at a friend sleepover. And she was like, no, we're going to church. And I didn't really know what to do because my friend was there. Like, what was I supposed to do with her? There was no, my mom wasn't like, I'm going to take her home. But also, she wasn't invited to come to church. It was weird. But I was irritated with this entire premise of like, we didn't have plans to do this. I have someone over. It didn't make sense to me. And at that point, I was like, Mom, I don't even believe in God anyway. What are you talking about? And she went and got my stepdad. And he came in and just lost it on me and was like, who the fuck are you to think that you get to decide whether or not you believe in God? And the rest of the details are fuzzy because I just remember I was sitting on my bed with my friend next to me. And my stepdad picked up my fucking desk chair. This is a prop. He's picked up my desk chair. It was this metal desk chair. And he held it over my head. And as he was screaming at me, was like, I'm gonna break every bone in your body. And at that point, I just started screaming. Because I didn't fucking get it. I didn't fucking get it. And then he tried to get my friend to like side with him. I was like, so what do you think about Danielle and the way she's acting? And my friend was like, I don't understand why you would be doing this to her. You can already see that she's upset. And that's when my parents kicked me out of the house for the day. It was like you're going to church and your friend evaporates, or get the fuck out. So my friend said, that's okay, Danielle, you can come to my house. So we walked to her house and I stayed there all day. And I was, upset, and she wanted to like continue hanging out like it was cool, but like I was pretty freaked out, and so there was not like gonna be like a, hey, we're just buddies enjoying a Sunday afternoon. Like I was fucked. And I cried all day and I was upset, and my friend didn't get it. She was just like, I don't understand why you can't just get over it. After she'd witnessed that. She was sitting right next to me as he held that fucking chair over my head, saying that he was going to break every bone in my body. I don't know how I guess because she had not been in situations like that before. She hadn't been exposed to like previous abuse of her own or mine. I guess she was able to be like, well, we're out of that situation. Nobody was threatening my well-being. Nobody was psychologically abusing me. I haven't had to live with this kind of shit for years of my childhood. So I'm gonna just have a fun little Sunday. We should paint. Do crafts. And at the end of the day, I had to fucking walk home. I said I wasn't gonna get into all this, but I couldn't help it. Like, oh, I got set off, dude. I really don't absorb that kind of shit very well, I mean, my fucking stepdad started chasing me around the house when I was 6. When he would get mad, I was 6. He would get mad because my dad dropped me off late, and my stepdad would get mad at me for being late. I was fucking 6. How is it my fault? So the unrelenting shit when someone won't stop and they won't leave you alone and they corner you and you can't get away, and you're helpless, and you're frightened, and you're like a fucking cornered animal. I'm really sorry for getting so upset. I want to thank you for listening. I feel like forgiveness is very important. And even though that I have not forgiven the people in my life who have abused me, it's much easier for you to forgive yourself for the time that you've wasted watching this video. And have a good day.